Handheld, large-format Hasselblads were specially adapted for the task.
We quickly realized that you couldn't look out of the window of an early spacecraft and look through a viewfinder, so a viewfinder was useless. So we went to the shoot from the hip technique. They're teaching them how to aim a camera at a target without a viewfinder. Sort of like an old cowboy firing a pistol in the old days.
On the 21st of December, 1968, Apollo 8 blasted off from Cape Kennedy. 3 days later, it entered the moon's orbit.
This is Apollo 8 coming to you live from the moon. The vast, lonely, forbidding expanse of nothing.
I was busy taking shots of the moon with our back going forward, and therefore never had a chance to see the Earth. But about a third of the way through the mission, we rolled the spacecraft over. And as we came around the back of the moon, suddenly the Earth was in view. So I snapped off a few quick pictures.
When the astronauts returned to Earth, the camera film was rushed to Richard Underwood at NASA HQ.
I remember watching the clock count down to when it would come out of the machine, and the hair on my arms just sort of stood up at that point, hoping that they would get great photographs.
The photographs were released immediately to a waiting world, and they revealed what the satellite TV pictures had not.
We saw them live, first of all, on television. They were quite odd. If you look at the film that they took, you see this sort of misshapen basketball, and it sort of wobbles.
It's moving up toward 1 o'clock and in toward the center. Keep it going in that direction. Okay. Looking better. Could you give us some idea about the colors?
Very shortly, we got the stills, and many of them were in color. And suddenly, people were seeing what no one on Earth had ever seen, which was Earth from space. To see ourselves from another perspective like that was a true revelation, and it was very beautiful.
The photograph of the Earth from the moon is the single most, quote, earth-shattering photograph of our time.
And Bill is holding a camera here for us.
The fact that the astronauts took the pictures without any particular expertise doesn't in the least disqualify them.
I was really taken aback by the beauty, by the stark contrast of this hostile lunar surface, all black, white, and shades of gray, and here was this very colorful orb coming up behind it.
But the Earthrise picture was more than just a beautiful image. After a decade of conflict and dissent, it seemed to offer both a promise and a challenge to the world.
It seemed ridiculous that the leaders of the Soviet Union and the United States couldn't get along when Moscow and Washington were only that far apart.
The Earthrise picture galvanized the ecology movement, which was around. But there was a worldwide ecology movement after this.
It occurred to me that when human beings were able to see their home planet as just this fragile Christmas tree ornament, very finite, that maybe they could learn to take care of it better.
And from the crew of Apollo 8, we close with God bless all of you on the good Earth.
It was very thrilling to see the Earth for the first time from the moon. The message to all of us, we're all united. And that was thrilling at a time in the 60s when we were all so divided about the Cold War, divided about race, divided about almost everything. And this was like God's remark to us, hey, you're all brothers and sisters.
It's far beyond the star, it's near beyond the moon.
That picture was printed as a traditional sunrise with a flat horizon. To me, though, having come from the side, I always thought the side of the moon was more vertical and the Earth was at the side like that. So I hang the picture in that manner.
If I could fly like birds on high.
It all ended up that 19 cents worth of film became the most important part of a multi-billion-dollar project. And I think that's rather neat.
Next week, the Decisive Moments in History produced by the Paparazzi. That's at 7:10 here on BBC Two.